Welcome back to our series where we're interviewing past international golf participants. And today we're lucky to have Lev Abramson from Denver, Colorado, who was an Optimist international golf participant in 2024. Lev, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
So, one of the things we talk about on this podcast is optimism and working with the Optimist organization. But tell us a little bit how you became affiliated with the Optimist organization through the golf tournament.
This tournament's pretty well known around the Denver area. There's always qualifiers for it every year. I always really was interested in competing in it and played in the qualifiers. And My senior year of high school, I actually received an email about the Hugh Cranford All-Scholastic Scholarship. So I applied for that. Through my academics and also my golf ability and my writing that I demonstrated in my um, application, I was given a scholarship and also allowed granted participation in the tournament, which was such a special opportunity. And I made so many memories and so many friendships, and it was really just an incredible time.
So, you're saying the Optimist clubs really market this tournament really well around Denver. Tell us a little bit about the home club and the tournament that you played in to qualify.
Yeah, so they usually have qualifiers usually in the summer before I believe, and it'll be at kind of a random course every year, and it's always a pretty big deal. Everybody always wants to qualify for it, so it was super special for me to I'd already been granted the scholarship and the opportunity to participate in the event. So while a lot of my friends and teammates and people I compete in all these junior events with were going out to the qualifier, I was able to kick my feet up and work on my game and work on my not take a day off of my summer job. So because I'd already been given participation, which was really special, and it was so cool to get to be looking forward to that event for so long, and it was everything I could ever wanted.
Had you had any affiliation with the Optimist Club through the Denver area before the tournament?
Honestly, not really. My big affiliation in the golf world is with First Tee. So I've been a participant, junior coach, assistant players club coach, and recently a instructor with First Tee. I've been affiliated with them for well over 8 years, and that's really been instrumental in my life. And I believe there might be some sort of connection between First Tee and Optimist. I'm not too sure on that. But definitely that pushed me in the direction of researching and finding other opportunities such as Optimist. So it all definitely connected for me.
Tell us about the qualifying tournament where you played. You know how you were feeling, some of the emotions you had, and when you were qualifying for the tournament.
Yeah, so I actually didn't play in the qualifier because I had already been given the like placement in the tournament through the scholarship. So I was not allowed to play in the qualifier and take up a spot from somebody who was trying to qualify for the event that year. I unfortunately did not have the opportunity to battle any emotions out there. Definitely did out on the Blue Monster. But did not play in the qualifier that year.
Well, let's talk about the tournament down in Florida. Then tell us a little bit some of the emotions you were feeling going down to the tournament.
Yeah, so it was definitely summer of my senior year going next fall I'd be playing in college at Wesleyan University. So I was really trying to, get score some good scores, see how my game was and really working on it to make sure I was really prepared to play at the collegiate level. And so looking at kind of my tournaments I had scheduled that summer, the big one was the Optimist championship, and so that was kind of the thing I was looking at every time I was practicing was like, all right, we gotta get the game right for this event. It's going to be an incredible opportunity. So I definitely had a lot of it was a very hyped up experience for me. I was so excited to get to compete in such a well-renowned tournament. And so when I was actually out there, it was definitely there were a lot of nerves on the first tee, and it was very scary because it was something I really wanted. But when I was able to kind of change my mind from being really focused on every shot needs to be perfect and like this is so important, to just kind of being grateful to be out here on at such an incredible golf course with surrounded by incredible people, in such an awesome opportunity, and just really have an attitude of gratitude. That made it much easier for me to kind of relax, get in flow, and play well.
Is there a memory in your mind that sticks out most that was your favorite time of the tournament while you were playing?
Definitely. So, um, I competed in the parent-child, in the parent-child event the day before the tournament, and I had the opportunity to compete in that with my uncle, which was so great. He and I really bond over golf, and getting to have him fly down from he lives in St. Louis, having him fly down, and we met each other at the incredible hotel, and then we got to play a brutally hard course together, and really bond over that, and spend some quality time. It was so incredible. And I think that moment, kind of going back to what I was talking about with an attitude of gratitude for getting to be out there, I think having that experience of getting to spend time at such an incredible place, surrounded by incredible people with my uncle, really helped me kind of shift my mindset and just be appreciative of every opportunity.
Tell our listeners about some of the relationships you forged while you were down at the tournament in Miami.
For sure. So, I would say there are probably about, in my age group, I would say there were probably about 10 junior golfers from Colorado, who the ones who qualified through the qualifier. And I was pretty familiar with most of them from competing throughout junior golf in Colorado with them. But getting to be at the same hotel with them, spend a bunch of time, go on the practice screen together, do random competitions. That was really fun, and I made two really good friends that I was familiar with them before the event, of course, but there were two people in particular that I really bonded well with, and we stayed in touch. And when we both were back in town, we all played together, and it was really cool to get to make even more connections to people that I was very familiar with, but hadn't really reached that bridge of like going out of our way to spend time together and actually golf together outside of an event.
So you've made lasting relationships with people from your own state. How about have you met anybody in the world from anywhere else in the world that you've maintained a great relationship with?
Definitely. There was a kid from Brazil who I became pretty good friends with. He I had another friend from Brazil from a summer camp, and so they actually knew each other. So that was really cool to get to connect over that. We text here and there. Unfortunately, it's not like the guys from Denver that I could just go out and play around with whenever I wanted, because we live in different countries. But it was really cool to get to meet people from around the world while I was there, and bond over such an incredible sport like golf that we all are so passionate about.
Tell us a little bit about the tournament when you were there and some of the stuffs you were expecting and things that were surprises to you.
Yeah, so I was expecting intense competition, a very difficult golf course, and hopefully some incredible memories. And I would say all three of those things were incredibly true. That golf course is very difficult, but it was so fun to get to play it. And I definitely made so many memories. My mom and dad flew out and watched me compete in the tournament, and they took a bunch of videos for me, which I always will go back and watch those. It's always fun to get to watch me make a birdie putt here, and smack a drive down. And some of the stuff I wasn't expecting was how kind of relaxed it would be, and how much fun I would have with these people I was competing against. I wasn't expecting the culture to be that way, where after the tournament rounds, the Optimist staff put together little games like glow in the dark putt on the practice putting green, and little things like that. It was so much fun to get to hang out with these people I was competing against, and instead of just being opponents on the golf course, to actually become friends and build lasting relationships. So I'm very grateful for the Optimist staff putting those events together to kind of cultivate that culture.
What were some things that you did besides the tournament that would stick out in your mind in Florida that you did outside of the tournament?
Outside of the tournament, for sure. I think the big thing was I ordered my first Uber on my own from the airport, which was terrifying. because I I flew alone, um, and I needed to get to the hotel, and I'd ordered the Uber to the wrong level, and I it was a complicated mess. So real growing point there. Other than that, just getting to explore the Miami area with my family and my uncle, and going to eat at some cool restaurants and just make a bunch of memories was super special.
When you're playing in the tournament, what were some of your fears that you had about the golf course? Because I've been talking to multiple participants that have said this golf course is one of the toughest they've ever played.
Yeah, I would say my biggest fear was the greens. So being from Colorado, I'm used to playing on bent grass, but down there it's Bermuda, so there's the grain is something that you have to take into account, but it's not something I have a bunch of experience playing with. So it was definitely a big learning curve for me to learn how to read that, understand it, and not overthink it. And it really taught me how to be agile and on my feet out there. You know, you can prepare as much as you want for something, but there are going to be things that you just aren't ready for, and you've got to be able to think on your feet, be agile, and adapt. And I think I did a really good job of that. I had trouble putting on the first round, and I really worked on it on the putting green, and really learned how to read Bermuda, and my putting improved a lot from there on out. So it was a really good learning experience for sure.
Was there a hole in particular that you played that really sticks out in your mind when you were playing in the tournament?
A hole?
Yes.
Definitely. I think let me check this real quick. Let me make sure it's hole 17. Um, okay, yeah, yeah. Hole no, is it hole 8? Which hole's the par 3? I'm looking at the scorecard right now so that I can um oh, hole 9, of course. Hole 9, I think it's a long par 3 over water. Um, and uh, when I got to that hole, there was a thunderstorm coming in, and it was really into the wind. I think it was like 220 yards, and I it was so into the wind that I had to hit a 3 wood, and I put it on the green, and was able to two putt and get out of there. And as I made that putt to close off my round, because I believe I started on 10 that day, they blew the horn. So I was very lucky to get in right before that, and it was definitely having heading a 3 wood into the wind from 220 is a difficult shot because it can spin up in the wind, and you've got water on the right and short, and so it's a very difficult shot. But I was able to control the ball and put it on the green and get out of there before a long rain delay.
Pretty nice to two putt for a par on on a difficult par three. It makes you feel really good.
Yeah, I know, especially on those difficult Bermuda greens.
What are some of the experiences and the lessons you've taken away from playing the Optimist International Golf Tournament?
Yeah, I would say that there's kind of two aspects. I would actually no, scratch that. I would say there were three things that I really took away. The first area is about golf itself, where you know, the course can be however hard it wants to be, but that doesn't really matter. You can't get overwhelmed by that. You need to just stay focused on the present, focused on the shot at hand, and do the best you can with the cards you're dealt. And treat every shot like it's the most important shot. And then after you hit the shot, treat it like it was the least important shot in the world, and not get in your head about it. So it was very difficult, but to get in the right mindset for that on such a hard course. But I think it was a really good learning experience on how to play something difficult and a little foreign with the different greens, of course. I would say the second kind of core area where I learned was more socially. You know, being surrounded with, you know, there were 10 people that I was kind of familiar with competing with them in Denver junior tournaments. But beyond that, there were a bunch of other golfers who I was not familiar with at all. But I became friends with a lot of them, and was able to, you know, be extroverted and reach out to people and ask them, you know, where are you from? Like, how are you enjoying this event? And really make a lot of friendships and go out of my way to reach out to other people who were really incredible people, incredible golfers, and incredible friends. So I think learning how to be, meet people from other backgrounds and become friends and bond over something like golf was super important and something that is a lasting lesson that I'll be using for the rest of my life. And the third aspect I would say is kind of with being more independent. So of course this was the summer before going to college, and there's a lot of stuff I had to learn in the first few weeks of college, but I think having the experience of I lived with I was roomed with another golfer while I was there instead of my family. I thought that'd be a cool experience. So I had a roommate. I had to get myself up, get breakfast, and warm up before the round. I was very I learned how to be more independent at a competition, which has been super important in helping me transition into college, and especially being a golfer in college. Where we've got a lot of tournaments, and being able to get myself mentally prepared for big events was a great thing I learned.
So you're one of our few participants that is not going to play again where you're actually in colleges. Tell us how this experience has helped you in your college career.
For sure. So in college, we're playing all these various courses, and for me as a sophomore, a lot of the courses I haven't played before. Whereas as a senior, I will have seen a lot of those courses in previous years, so it won't be as big of a deal. But for me, especially my freshman year, I played in 8 of our 9 tournaments. I qualified for 8 of our 9 tournaments, and so I played at 8 courses that I'd never played before. And so learning how to research a course on the front end, and then when you're actually there, be able to adapt your plan based on conditions. And there's always going to be a curveball at the course that you didn't account for, and learning how to manage that is something that playing at such a difficult course, like the Blue Monster, really taught me. And then also with especially that more being independent, and having to rely on yourself to get yourself prepared to compete and give it your all was something I learned, and how to balance that emotionally.
What is some advice you have for players that are still playing in the tournament? What advice would you give them moving forward that comes from somebody that's been playing and that has already played in the tournament and is not able to qualify again?
For sure. I would say to the golf is a great opportunity, and it's very important, and you should want to do your best. But there's so much more opportunities at this tournament that the Optimist staff puts on, that you should take advantage of, and you should reach out to people, make friends, because those friends will last you a lifetime. And yes, focus on the golf, do great on the golf. But also have a lot of fun. It's such a great tournament. The stuff like the mini golf at night, glow in the dark, or the long drive competition, the parent junior. There's all this fun stuff too. So don't get too in your head about, oh, I've got to play super well. Just have fun, and honestly, the scores will come from that.
What are some of your plans moving forward going to college? What are some of your future goals you have as a golfer and as a college student, and then for your life to coming forward?
Yeah, that's the question, right? So for me, I I would say starting with the golf. I want golf for me has been important in all my life, and it's really been an area for me to build friendships and relationships, and connect with important people like my uncle and my dad, and playing with them and my siblings. And so for me, I want it to always be an area where I can connect with somebody on a game that we both enjoy. Eventually when I have kids, I want to be able to golf with them. Hopefully they love golf as much as I do, and I can kind of be like my dad was for me with them. Um, and then I would say transitioning to more academically, um, just focusing on doing the best I can in school to give me the best opportunities beyond that, and career wise is really important to me, and working on the important skills that I need to have a successful career is really important to me at this time.
What are you studying at Wesley College?
Yeah, so at Wesleyan, I'm an economics major, and I'm also pursuing a data analysis and physics minor. And so, for me right now, I'm doing a lot of recruiting for internships in finance for 2027, so in 2 summers. And so what I want to do with my life is still kind of unknown to me. I think I want to try the world of finance and see how I enjoy it. But also I'm also working on a pre-med track as well. So I'm thinking of also going to medical school. So those are two very different things, finance and med school. But I think they're both really connected for me in how you approach a problem and solve it. So I want to be able to apply my problem solving skills in an area I really like. So just continuing to get experience in both fields, so that I can kind of weigh my decision and see what really appeals to me more and where I can be most successful.
Well, it sounds like you've got a lot of stuff going on, and it sounds like the Optimist tournament has been very good for you as a thing in your life to prepare you for things.
Oh, most definitely.
Do you have any ambition to join an Optimist club when you get older?
I think that would be a really incredible opportunity. Golf means so much to me, and the Optimist really underscored that and gave me such an incredible opportunity getting to compete in this tournament. And so I'd love to be able to participate in any way and give back to others through this incredible organization and be able to help people, yeah, help youth in any way I can, especially golf related, would be an incredible opportunity. So definitely.
Well, we look forward to you joining an Optimist club, and I can't tell you, Lev, how much we appreciate you taking the time to visit with us and fill us in on your experience at the International Golf Tournament.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this opportunity, and I, playing in this tournament was really formative in my life, and I'm so grateful to be able to talk more about my experiences there and getting to represent as a Hugh Cranford All Scholastic Scholarship recipient. I think that's such a special opportunity, and I highly encourage anybody interested to not only apply for the scholarship opportunities, but also compete in the qualifiers and it's just the most incredible experience anybody could really want. So I can't say enough great things about it.